sorry, kiddo, I really am. You have a good soul. And I hate giving good people bad news.
I'm Tony, he's Mike, and today we're going all the way back to my birth year, 1971, and we are talking about Billy Jack.
I'm gonna take this right foot, and I'm gonna whop you on that side of your face. What are you so worried about?
About the kids going into town tomorrow.
Well, why don't you just tell them that they can't go?
I can't do that.
Really? Really?
Which we thought was the first movie in this series of films. Turns out we were wrong. The first movie is Born Losers. Whether or not we'll ever review that depends on how well this one does. Tell your friends. Would you like to walk us through the plot? Or the cast? Or whatever.
Well, I really didn't pay too much attention to the cast. We just got Tom Laughlin.
What's gonna happen tomorrow is gonna happen, and all your worry in the world isn't gonna change that.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah, who I guess wrote and directed this whole thing?
Yes,
So,
yes.
This is all his project,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Actually, all four of the Billy Jack films are his babies. So
Yeah. Well, I know this too, just really quickly, that he could not get funding for this thing. Or is there some issues getting funding with it? And
in the first movie, he got funding for the film, and then he started shooting, and then API or AIP, they pulled out because they were upset with some of the political content and some of the graphic nature of the film.
Okay.
And then he showed it to, I believe it was Universal, and they agreed to fund the film. So, and then there's a lot of weirdness, but let's go. Okay, so
we'll just wrap up really quickly. He did end up getting funding. It actually did get released.
Yeah, well, the first one did get released. It was a huge sleeper hit. It was one of those that no one saw it coming, and it was massive in every sense of the word. It made ridiculous amounts of money. And it really kind of changed independent cinema for everything that came after it. So when he got to the second one, this one, he literally called all the movie theaters and scheduled the release of this film himself in over, all these different theaters. And this one, because of the success of the first one, this one made stupid money. I mean, just it made fuck you money is really what it boils down to.
If I remember correctly, it was done for under $1 million. I think it was like 800,000 or something like that.
It was done for 800,000, and its box office, and this is film rentals, meaning this is what theaters paid to rent the film, was $32.5 million. The box office on this film, its initial run, it made $10 million, and then it was re-released and it made $50 million more. So when I say stupid money, this is literally considered to be one of the first blockbusters. So we'll be back with notes.
Yeah. So now we can talk about the plot here. So we got Billy Jack, who is an ex-Green Beret. He's also like a half Navajo or something like that. That's what it is. And so he is the protector of the reservation. He is like their law, even though he's not really a law person.
I don't know if he's actually supposed to be like a tribal sheriff or not. They never really,
they don't really
explain
say
it.
They just say he's the protector.
Yeah.
For the most part.
On this reservation, I am the law. So I'll tell you this just once. Have your men drop their guns and you can leave quietly.
And so anyways, the beginning of the film, you have several people on reservation land rustling up horses, I guess, just to shoot them?
Actually, they talk about this. They're shooting the horses and they're selling the meat to a dog food company for 6 cents a pound.
Yeah. How much are the dog food companies paying for Mustang meat now?
6 cents a pound. Why?
That was a very large herd of horses, that's a lot of money. So, at least in 1971 money. So,
Okay. So there's that. So Billy Jack shows up, and there's a little showdown, and he convinces them that that's probably not a good idea to be shooting those horses there.
yeah.
Drop it and die.
So, and then jump back. We have one of the deputies. The sheriff shows up and says, "Hey, we found your daughter."
What do you want to do about Barbara?
Look, Cole, I'll try to get back before she gets here.
And they bring her to him, and she's kind of a...
She's a hippie.
Yeah.
She's a full-blown hippie.
Yeah.
She's one of those hippies that she went to San Francisco on some spiritual quest, and apparently she had a lot of loving.
Yeah.
That I was passed around by so many of those phony Maharishi types who kept telling me that love is beautiful and all that bullshit.
Make love, not war, all that kind of stuff. And she came back home because she's pregnant, and she says that she's had so many partners she doesn't even know who the father is or what color the child will be.
All right. Where's the father?
Where's the father? That's funny. I don't even know who the father is.
And naturally her very racist father, the deputy, decides that's a good time to smack the shit out of your kid. And so,
Which is on point for 1970s
Yes.
America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of time I'm surprised she gets slapped for all the back talk she was getting, to be honest with you.
yeah, no, and so
I was really waiting for the slapping to start happening, but it didn't. It was all done off camera. But they find her out in the field, and she's beat up pretty good, and so they take her to the reservation.
They take her to the doctor first, who then just like, you need to be someplace where we can protect you, and then she goes to the reservation, to the school.
Yeah.
Which there's a story behind that, but let's go through the plot first.
So anyways, they go to the school, and they introduce her to, kind of the rest of the people there, I guess, cast. And so it's a very open, artsy school. You can stay there as long as you want, no questions asked. The only real requirement is like just pick up a hobby of some kind or another and do something with your life. It's actually a cool place.
No drugs. Everyone had to carry his own load. And everyone had to get turned on by creating something. Anything.
And so anyways, a group of the students or people from the school go into town. They want to go into the ice cream shop, but no Indians are allowed. This one girl's like, no, F that, I'm gonna give me some damn ice cream. Goes in there, gets a rash of shit from the proprietor of the place.
Look, we'd like to buy some ice cream cones, please. Sorry, I'm all out of cones.
And then the local creeper comes in.
Yes, who's the son of the richest man in town.
Yes.
So.
And starts harassing the group of kids.
Simple solution is simply to make Miss Upyour's non-white friends white.
And then Billy Jack comes in, and from there, shenanigans ensue.
I just go
Ass whooping ensues.
Yes.
In a big way. There's this whole subplot of the school, which kind of pops up out of nowhere because you have the kickoff and you have Barbara, the daughter, who's pregnant and everything that's going on with that, and who's the father, and the dad thinks it's one of the Indians at the school, which it's not.
It was not an Indian. I told you I handled it. It was a white fetus. You're a goddamn liar.
And then she has a stillbirth, I'm assuming, because she does deliver the child, and the child is white, but apparently this makes the dad angrier, so now he's got a vendetta against the Indian kid who she thinks is the dad, who's actually not, who's played by Chakotay from Voyager.
Years ago, I didn't even know your name. Today, I can't imagine a day.
in one of his very early screen roles.
He shows up in the weirdest places in our reviews.
Yes, he does. But you know what?
Like the last place I expected him to turn up was, Night of the Comet. Here this makes a little more sense.
Richard Beltran can do it all. What can we say? He can fly a starship. He can ride a horse. He's versatile like that. So you have that. Then you have the whole thing where, like, the people in town don't like the people at the school. And so there's a ton of harassment that goes on with the townies and the people from the school.
Hey, Cole, when are you going to do something about those long-haired weirdos before or after they start burning their draft cards?
And then the townies decide that they're going to have a big meeting and they're going to limit the number of students that are allowed to come into town to 6 people, and they can only come in on Saturdays. Yeah. It's all very weird and legal wrangly and very anti-counterculture.
It's stupid bullshit fucking politics. And it's done from and it's really poorly handled on both sides.
Yes.
Because neither, like when they had the town hall meeting where they're going to discuss this whole thing of limiting the exposure from the school to the town.
We're proving to these students that most of the things they believe about us are true, but they're proving to us that most of the things we fear about them are true.
Neither one behaves properly. No one really acts civil except for one guy, and he's trying his best to represent the school and then try to calm situations down when things gets a little heated.
Yes.
To speak to the resolution, it opposes not only the spirit but the letter of the Constitution and many state and federal laws.
And it's just bad.
And then they invite the council to come to the school to see exactly what they're about. And only 2 of them actually take them up on this. And they do this weird ad-libbed acting thing, and it's starring Dr. Johnny Fever.
Yes.
I almost forgot, fellow babies. Booger!
Who winds up being a main character in all this. And their whole supposition is that if we expose the town to what we're trying to teach and what the kids here are about and what's being taught at the school, that they will accept it.
Some trouble, Sheriff?
Yes, Howard, I'm very sorry to have to come here for this, but these children have been smoking marijuana with a known dope fiend.
And it's one of those, good luck with that sort of things.
Yeah.
It's a little too different than what mainstream middle class of America was used to. So it leads to a lot of tension, and Billy Jack is kind of at the center of it because he's at odds with the richest man in town and his dad. And then there's the lady who runs the school, and she's supposed to be a pacifist.
No, Billy, you can't do it. If you hurt Bernard, they're going to close down the school and ruin everything we've tried to build.
And funny story, that's actually Tom Laughlin's wife.
Okay.
Her name is Dorothy, and I have more in my notes on that one, but they were married forever. She co-stars in all of the films with him, playing the same character.
It's kind of funny that you tell me that, because I felt zero chemistry between them when they're on screen. It's like, I even have in my notes, like, she's supposed to be the love interest, but I swear he could give 2 fucks about that.
I was going to actually
he doesn't pay her any attention at all whatsoever. And it wasn't until later in the film where she's like, hey, I love you, that... and he's like, I love you too.
I love you, Bill.
You got a deal.
Like all this shit. But anyways, let's finish burn through this plot because we're getting way off track here. Just talk about the fucking school. So at the ice cream place, Billy Jack goes up there, whoops some fucking ass.
Yeah.
They do. It takes a dozen or so guys, but they finally subdue him. Sheriff shows up, save his ass. And then later, at some point, the creeper guy grabs a girl from, I guess.
Yeah, they're trying to find out where the Indian kid is, and that's kind of the whole thing here. Is everybody assumes that Barbara is with the Indian kid, and if they can locate Martin, then they'll be able to figure out where Barbara is because her dad wants her back.
If you help us get her out of there, you'll not only collect that big fat reward I offered, but you'll save someone's life.
So there's all this back and forth about where's Martin, where's Barbara, where's Barbara, where's Martin, and then finally, naturally, the douchebag kid takes things too far. He winds up actually shooting Martin. They find the body. And then Barbara, you know...
Where you skip over the fact that, number one, he grabs some random underage girl.
Yes.
And forces her to get undressed to find out where they are.
Yes.
I honestly don't know.
Okay, Miss False Eyelashes. Off with your blouse.
Yeah,
Billy
she's
Jack
trying to
shows
get
up,
information, yeah.
saves the day there. And then later, Creeper Guy kidnaps, what's her name again, Jean?
Whose word do you think my old man, the sheriff, would believe anyway? Yours or ours?
And then Billy Jack catches him again with another underage girl at his house, kills him.
How old are you?
13.
Get out.
And then they had the standoff.
Yes, then you have to stand up with law enforcement, and then Billy is basically convinced to give himself up. And the film that follows this is the trial of Billy Jack, which apparently is like 3 hours long, and there's no fucking way I'll sit through that anytime in the near future. But I will say this. The problem with this movie is it is both overwritten and underwritten. It is overstuffed. There's too many ideas here. It lacks a coherent, clear narrative. And I understand why. He wanted to present all these ideas and not leave anything out. But at the same time, there is all these scenes that go on too long. Like all of the songs and all of the ad-libbed acting scenes, all the improv theater, it's just like...
It's too much.
All that shit, I get why, but I don't need to see all of it.
What are you high on the stuff? Get up! Don't yell at me!
Keep your tail!
What is that supposed to mean, young lady?
Editing is your friend. And in this particular instance, it feels like, well, I paid money for these songs, so I'm getting all of them in the movie. and it starts with the little 11-year-old girl, and she's not going to do one song, she's going to do 2 songs. And you get to sit through both of them.
Yes, you do. When they first show up at like their little thing, and they're like, hey, we got to find so-and-so, and we're going to offer money. And they get up and they sing the Love Rainbow song.
Yeah.
We're a rainbow made of children.
And that goes on for eternity. Every scene with Dr. Johnny Fever and his improv troupe goes on for way too damn long.
Way too long. Yeah.
It really drags down this movie bad.
Oh, to hell with this.
If they took all that shit out, you know what? You want to take all out. Just show 30 seconds of it, and we get it.
Yeah.
We don't need all of it. 30 seconds of it is plenty, and this would have been a much better movie. Because there is a decent movie here.
Yes.
It's just full of extra bullshit that doesn't need to be in here.
And like I said, editing would have been their friend.
Yes.
We don't need to hear the whole song.
Yeah.
We could just see her start playing the song and everybody smiling and clapping along and singing along with her, and then go to the next scene. And we don't need the entire improv performance for 7 minutes or whatever it is.
Hey, you. I want you to...
No, man, no, absolutely not. You took your eyes off of me, and I'm the suspect.
And the sad part of it is most of them aren't funny. The humor is so heavy-handed and cheesy. It's like watching a bad episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah. And that's the other thing I like about this film is that it's extremely heavy-handed. There's like zero tact in anything that's on display here.
You're absolutely right about that. Now, part of that is the fact that this was the first film to tackle a lot of this, the mistreatment of Native Americans and how, you know, women and the whole counterculture movement was seen. I get all that, but again, overstuffed. If this had been a cleaner, more concise script that was edited better, this would have been a far more engaging and timeless film. But as this movie stands, it's very much a product of its time.
Really? Really?
Oh yeah. And it has not aged well.
No.
So
no, it really hasn't.
I have a shit ton of notes. So
roll through them quick.
I'm gonna go through them quick. So this is the sequel to Born Losers. Tom Laughlin had several different names. So he wrote, directed, and produced this film, but he's listed himself as several different names on there. The Nashnobi tribe that Billy Jack claims to be a member of and goes through the whole getting bit by a rattlesnake scene. Completely fictional, complete bullshit. It's completely made up for this film. Now, the trial of Billy Jack, this movie was so financially successful, it allowed Tom Laughlin to do a lot of things that had never been done before. He got to do the first national release of a movie with the trial of Billy Jack. It was the first film that was released in over 1,000 theaters in every major city from coast to coast, because it used to be a film would be released regionally and then it would move through, and that's why Held Over for 22nd Week was such a big deal in the newspaper back in the day. That movie also kicked off the big budget ad campaign with a $3 million ad campaign in 1974 money. And here's the real genius of the ad campaign. They only bought spots that were during the news programs of whatever local station, and the ad was actually done to look like a news report about the trial of Billy Jack.
Oh, interesting.
So it's kind of viral, it's kind of its own thing.
What Gene has really taught us here and in the Child Abuse Center is that everyone has inside of them a fantastic force, and it can really change people once it's unleashed.
AIP, American International Pictures, actually had gotten the distribution rights to Born Losers, the original Billy Jack film. And when Billy Jack came out, they re-released Born Losers, and they had the tagline of the original Billy Jack film. So Born Losers was competing with Billy Jack for theater dollars at the same time in a lot of the same theaters. Tom Laughlin wound up suing AIP, and they had to actually put on their ads, this is a re-release of Born Losers from 1967, because he was worried it was going to affect the box office of his film. Let's see. When adjusted for inflation, as of 2007, Billy Jack is the highest grossing independent film of all time.
Well, I'm not surprised. Again, I mean, how many millions the first release?
10 million on its first release, and then 50 million more on initial release. So
yeah, $1970 is
Tom Laughlin had stupid money after this. And by the way,
wait, is one quick question in any relation to Lori Laughlin?
I don't think so. I didn't find anything about that.
I didn't think to look. It just crossed my mind.
Funny story. He was good friends with Marlon Brando.
Okay.
He lived down the street from O.J. Simpson. So they were filming the fourth film in the series, The Return of Billy Jack, and he was injured and he had a concussion and a neck injury, so they had to stop production on it. They never finished that film.
Okay.
So that was actually going to be the fifth one. Tom Laughlin, not only did he revolutionize film and independent distribution, but he also revolutionized independent VHS distribution in '85 when he started a big push for getting indie films into rental places like Blockbuster and all that sort of stuff. He, in 1961, opened the Montessori School, which the school in the movie is very much based on. He ran that for 4 years. Marlon Brando sent his kids there. The school wound up going bankrupt in '65, but it was at the time the largest school of that type in the United States. So I get why Tom Laughlin wanted to put all this stuff in the film. It was all the stuff that he really genuinely believed in. It was all the stuff that he was a champion for. So I can understand why he would want to bring it to light and expose people to it. It makes sense because he really did think that this is the best way to educate kids. Let them tell you what they're interested in. Don't try to cram shit down their throat. And I get it. I completely understand it. But at the end of the day, Tom Laughlin suffered from buying into his own bullshit because he wound up losing his mansion. He wound up going bankrupt. He wound up having to create a separate company that took all the rights for all the Billy Jack films, and they controlled it now. But he was trying over and over again to to resurrect Billy Jack because he thought that it was still relevant in the 80s and 90s, which I don't see how. And then he tried to do a television series with Billy Jack as recently as 2007. So I mean, he really believed in everything that he was doing.
We're close in 20 minutes.
Yeah. I just want to say, like legitimately, I respect the man. I respect what he was trying to get done, what he was trying to expose America to and accomplish. But this movie don't quite hunt.
Yeah, it's a shame. This is I've heard about this film forever and ever and ever. It's the first time I watched it, so I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I've seen worse. It's not a recommend, but it's not like an avoid either. It's one of those, like, if you're curious, give it a shot. But I'm not promising anything for you.
See, what I'm curious about is Born Losers a better movie, and this movie suffers because we basically started reading the book in the middle of the chapter? Because I remember Billy Jack. I remember watching Billy Jack as a kid on Channel 11 on the Saturday and Sunday afternoon movies, and I remember it being infinitely cooler than it is.
Well, I mean, you probably watched it for the action stuff and totally forgot about all the hippie dippy shit in the middle.
Oh, to hell with this.
All the singing and the improv and all that stuff. So.
I mean, like I said, they could have kept everything, all the political messages, all that. He could preach exactly what he wanted to do. But all of those performances make this movie a slog to get through in parts. I was literally like, can I just fast forward? I didn't. I suffered through it.
I did too. I didn't even fast forward through it. So
I'm not going to say don't watch it. I'm just going to say know that it's of its time and it very heavily reflects it. And this is not a modern film by any stretch of the imagination. No. It does not watch like a contemporary film at all.
No.
So that's it. There was a lot of ground to cover there, and I rambled on a little bit, but I just wanted to fill all that in to let you know that, yes, we actually did do our homework on this one. We're not just saying, yeah, Billy Jack sucks.
Well, we're not saying Billy Jack sucks. We're just saying it's very meh.
Yeah, this movie could work well if somebody would get in there and just edit the shit out that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell. So anything else?
No, that's what we got.
We will catch you next time.